All right, you all, welcome to Esports 102. We're glad that you were able to join us here today. There are some more people that should be logging in, so we'll keep an eye out for them. If you have any friends that are still trying to get logged in, we'll keep an eye on it, so don't worry about that. Hopefully you can all see the screen. There's a screen being shared right now. If you're having issues seeing that, please let me know in the chat and we can do a reshare. But welcome, thank you for being here. These sessions are being put on by our Florida Recreation Esports Council, which is a group that was put together to kind of help move the initiative of esports forward in our state and help you all as parks and recreation professionals learn more about esports. And just like today, we're talking about break the mold, break down some of the walls, and figure out if it's something you want to do in your communities if you're not already, and maybe just have a space to share ideas and get things rolling in your agency. So before I go any further, just if you are part of the Florida Recreation Esports Council, if you'll just give a little wave. So these are our people that have been a part of it for 2 years now. Last year, they were able to host a state tournament. So we're hoping to do that again and have that roll out here pretty soon with the tournament happening in fall. So keep an eye out for that. There are kind of resource for getting things put together. And one of the initiatives for this year was to pull together some resources and research and anything else you may need and put it all together on one website. So that's what we're working on right now, is a resource website where hopefully park and recreation professionals can go to use to help get their esports game going. And so that's why this session is being recorded today, as well as the one that Alex presented with us last week, which was Esports 101. And so both of those will be available on that website for you to take a look at again, or to share with any of your other professionals that maybe work with you on this. We have been muted, so if you would stay muted for the presentation part of it, we would appreciate that. Like, this is being recorded, like we said, so if you start to talk and you're unmuted, then your face is going to pop up real big on everyone's screen, so you might want to just keep that in mind if you don't want to be that person. If you have questions as we're going along, go ahead and put those in the chat so that when we're finished and we have some question and answer time, we have those kind of ready to go. So they don't, fall out of your brain while we're going through everything. Just make a note of them in the chat there, and then we'll revisit those at the end. But then also at the end, we'll encourage you to unmute and have conversation and share ideas and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'm going to stop talking because I don't know anything about esports, and I'm going to introduce CJ and Michael, who are part of the Florida Recreation Esports Council, and they're going to take it from here.
CJ, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll jump in and take the first couple of slides.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is CJ Keister. I'm a recreation manager for the city of Port St. Lucie. I've been here for about 3 years, and we started esports almost 2 years ago when we shut everything else down during the pandemic. We started offering esports leagues and tournaments virtually.
And good afternoon, everybody. I am Michael Calvert. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Boca Raton. I'm a lifelong gamer, and I'm excited that finally I feel like the stigma of people playing games is gone. For many years, those gamers like myself were considered geeks and nerds, and as we'll talk about, everyone's really gaming. So I'm glad you're here to learn more about esports, and hopefully it's something that you will want to bring to your agency or department. Charlotte, do you want to go to the next slide? So just as a friendly reminder to those of you all who maybe weren't on the presentation a week or two ago, Alex did a fantastic job, but basically gaming is present all over the US. Over 40% of all households are gaming. Only 38% of children are participating in physical sports. So think about your agency. Are you finding more and more children are engaging in esports and gaming at home, and a lot more are not playing in the physical sports? At least that's what we're finding here in Boca Raton, and that is a national trend. If you're familiar with the NRPA magazine, there's been a lot of articles about esports lately. Esports is definitely one of the fastest growing trends. It's talked about a lot at both state and national conferences. I know there were some good presentations last year at the FRPA conference, and I believe there are more presentations coming up this year as well. And then also the future of esports is now, and we're actually going to be talking about that as we go along. Next slide, please. So who is gaming? Really, everybody is gaming. By show of hands with the cameras on, how many of you guys are gaming every day or every couple of days? Let's see. We've got some people raising their hands. A lot of people think gaming is only playing on a PlayStation or a PC. It's really a lot more than that. It's playing match-3 games. It's playing Wordle. It's playing Candy Crush, those type of games that a lot of people all around the nation are playing. Nearly half of gamers are female. 2/3 of all adults play some kind of sport or esports, whether it's through, again, console, computer, tablet, or smartphone. And 3/4 of all American kids are esports players. So really, everyone's doing it. And what we're going to talk about today is why you should consider this as part of the programming that you do in your agency. Next slide. So what are some of the benefits? Esports, really like many other sports, brings everyone together. Esports is much like athletic competitions and athletic sports where there's communication, there's camaraderie, there's sportsmanship, there's strategy, there's the ability to bring people together of all different abilities and work together towards a common goal. It's a low impact program for your centers. If you do it in person, you don't need necessarily a lot of setup. A lot of the participants, if they're younger, probably have their own PlayStations or Switches. Switches is a Nintendo platform that's very portable. So you may be saying to yourself, I think I want to do this for my community, but I don't necessarily have the money to set it up. Well, you can actually have the participants bring their machines with them, and you can set it up in a way that's very low cost impact to your community. And probably most importantly, it enables people to connect with one another. And that's what we do in Parks and Recreation. We find ways, whether it's through special events, whether it's through our programs, we find ways to bring people together, and esports does just that. Next slide. Really, one of the biggest benefits is it's accessible for everybody, and we're going to be talking about that in a moment. But the slide, the picture I have on there, NRPA actually worked with the Young Professionals Network, and we were hosting, not that I'm a young professional, but we were hosting get together and play days once a month. And this is something that your organization may want to do in your community. We've had some FRPA tournaments, and hopefully down the road in the future, we can find ways that maybe once a month we can get everyone together from FRPA to play together, much like NRPA has done. Next slide. So one of the reasons why I am most excited about esports, it really is an ability to have a program that's accessible to everyone and really provides inclusion. Esports is an accessible industry and program. Players of all ages and all abilities can play together, including parents and children. You can have siblings play with each other who are different ages. You can have grandparents playing with their grandchildren. And really, as we're seeing more and more, esports has been a pioneer in gender inclusivity. So the picture here is actually a Xbox controller, which was made and mass produced for children that need some accessible type of controller. Not everyone can hold the type yoking controller that you're used to seeing. This is one that was made, and if you think back, some of you all may have seen a really affecting and emotional commercial that Xbox put out nationally 2 or 3 years ago. I think, in fact, they rolled it out during the Super Bowl, where they were showing a group of kids in a classroom playing together, and the child in the wheelchair was able to play with them. So that is what this really can do for everyone. It can bring everyone together throughout your community.
All right, so Michael kind of just dove into a lot of the macro benefits offering esports within your department. And so what I want to do is kind of dive into some of the benefits that gaming can have for the individual when you're assessing whether this esports fits within your mission and values, or whether, when you're pitching it to your administration and they're not so sure. So research shows playing video games can directly correlate with improved hand-eye coordination, attention and visual acuity, improved basic visual processing and executive function, improved problem solving, and strategy skill development. Participating in esports can improve self-confidence with player socialization, and 54% of gamers say that gaming helps them connect with their friends. In addition to that, 71% of parents think that gaming has net positive effects for their children. Next slide, please, Charlo. Problem solving. So in esports, once the match starts, generally there's a problem and you need to solve it. Whether you're trying to figure out what defensive scheme your mad opponent is using that keeps blowing up your quarterback in the backfield, or if you're holding the top spot in Mario Kart and you're trying to decide if you should drop some banana peels behind you for your opponents to navigate or hold on to them for cover, you're constantly solving problems at an incredibly fast rate. Esports challenges your critical thinking abilities. For any of you playing out that last scenario in your head, the answer is always keep the banana peels for cover. Don't drop them. All right, lowering stress. Perhaps this is what hooked most of us to gaming in the first place. Gaming can be a great way to deal with unwanted stress. This is how many people can temporarily disconnect from reality and immerse themselves into their distraction. Additionally, along with relief from mental and emotional stress, esports doesn't put that physical toll on your body. While the sitting involved in esports is usually pointed to as a negative, in the 2 years I've been offering esports here in Port St. Lucie, I haven't had a single injury in the program. I haven't had to fill out a single accident report. So hopefully I keep that streak going. When we look at offering recreation for both youth and adults, I know, for kids, it's always like, well, we got to keep them up and moving because they've been in school all day. Well, not all adults are sitting at their desk all day. There's plenty of adults who are extremely active at work and would be happy to recreate sitting down after work hours. All right. So players who participate in esports programs are found to have higher interest in STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, and math. And they also have strong average GPAs. Esports helps them engage with their fellow students and their schools, and many high schools are now fielding teams. Colleges have also started fielding esports teams and are even offering scholarships to esports players. In Florida, Full Sail College in Orlando offers scholarships up to $8,000 a year. And while there are avenues for careers in esports, whether as a player, a coder, or graphic designer, this probably shouldn't be your drive to delve into this area of recreation. Your municipality likely doesn't offer youth basketball leagues because you think it's a good chance your kid is going to make it to the NBA. Rather, we offer youth basketball because the positive impact participating in the sport would have on the mental, physical, and social health of our youth. So since you're probably not getting into esports to be a feeder system for professional leagues, what are you going to be pitching to your administration? So I suggest treating esports just like any other sport. Drop-in programs, just like open play basketball, competitive and social leagues, just like you offer adult softball, but esports can be open to all ages. And in my experience, there are way fewer headaches than adult softball. Day-long to week-long tournaments. If you're open to trying or offering your programs remotely, there's already statewide tournaments, such as the ones hosted by FRPA, like Michael mentioned before, and national tournaments specifically for Parks and Rec. Mission Control offered one just for Parks and Rec agencies last summer as well. I would not suggest pitching these programs to your administration as a big revenue generator. If you're hosting everything on site, there's going to be a lot of expense involved in having an esports lounge, not to mention the ongoing cost to keep your hardware and software up to date once you're up and running. And even online leagues like the ones that we run require players to have their own hardware and software, do have fees associated with them. So I'm going to pass the baton back to Mike because he's going to dive into some of the roadblocks and concerns and pushback you might get from your administration and parents or community.
Thank you, CJ. So yeah, there's always some questions that pop up about esports. And the first one is, next slide, Charla, please. Should I be concerned about game content and about the games that we play? And absolutely, you should. Much like TV shows, there are different ratings for different games. You can have something that's very wholesome and rated for everyone, like Mario Kart, like CJ was mentioning. But there's also games that are mature for advanced audiences. I would really recommend that you pick sports to start off with, whether it's something like a Rocket League, which is basically 3 cars playing soccer together, or maybe something like a Madden football, or even something like a Mario Kart, because those are wholesome and you can have kids, whether they're 6 years old or 60 years old, playing it. I would try to steer away from those type games like Call of Duty and even potentially Fortnite, where you're involving guns and people shooting one another. A lot of people say that esports is merely putting a reticule on a dot on a screen and clicking a button. But if you do those Call of Duties, you may hear from your counselor or your community saying, why are you playing games that advocate violence? Next slide, please, Charla. I think we need to move back one. There you go. And also you'll hear from a lot of parents, well, I want my child to be able to go outside. Should I be concerned about screen time if my child plays games for many, many hours each day? Absolutely. Just like anything, you want to do hobbies, sports, activities in moderation. Well-rounded children, really, and adults need to balance the number of healthy activities they do. Esports, like CJ said, it's a great way to relax. It's a great way to relieve stress, and it's a great way to escape, but it shouldn't take the place of exercise. All of us, practice wellness in our departments, and we want our community to be healthy and fit. Esports is not a program that will take the place of those. We want to balance everything out. Even pro players, the training is really, really harsh and takes up a lot of hours, as CJ said. The thing that we want to do is we want to have this as a recreational activity. This is not a way for children to inevitably become pro players and earn scholarships. Next slide. We're actually too forward. With that, we wanted to give everyone just a brief overview of why you may want to advocate your department to be an esports provider. But really what we want to do today is take questions. So CJ, we're happy to field some questions. Please chime in the chat, and we'll also open it up potentially if Alex has anything to add, because he is our fearless leader in esports with FRPA and does a tremendous job. Alex, did we miss anything? Because you are an esports guru, no doubt.
I think you covered the bases. I think between last week and this week, we hit most of the talking points.
I do not see any questions in the chat yet, but you can feel free to unmute yourselves if you have any comments, or if you maybe are dealing with something specific, a scenario specific.
Maybe what we can do in the chat is, if you're willing to chime in and let us know if you currently do esports or if you're considering it, and maybe if you're considering it, what are those roadblocks? And maybe we can help you over the next couple minutes of just talking through those certain items.
David.
So I have a quick question about the first person shooter. I did back in the day, I was a Halo guy. So I did a lot of Halo with my youth groups and stuff like that. I didn't see any negative effects with Halo because it wasn't realism. You just mentioned Fortnite, which is a game that we were thinking about adding into our esports that we've already set up. Do you feel as though there could be first-person shooters that are not realism that we could use that don't have negative effects on the kids?
Personally, I think it's a conversation you need to have with your director and potentially county, city manager, whoever it may be. I think there's a lot of departments out there that are not comfortable doing first-person shooters. There are some out there that do it. I can tell you the biggest game in the world, is Fortnite, and that's because there's a lot of young children that are playing it. It's really a decision that comes back to you and your organization. I do agree with you, David, that I would not feel comfortable doing something like a Call of Duty, because you actually have, I'm going to say, humans shooting humans, and it's, especially in today's day with the war going on halfway across the world, I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. But again, I've talked with other people in the nation where, yeah, Halo is people shooting alien beings, and Fortnite is somewhat a little bit more cartoony. Or you can play games like, what is it, Plants vs. Zombies, which is a kind of third/first-person shooting where you're flowers shooting other flowers. So I think it all depends on your agency. CJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I'm not sure, David, if you guys do yours on site or remote. For us, the shooting games was the last genre that we entered in. We did everything else first, and we did that last. The conversation we had, because we do everything remote, everyone has to have their own hardware and software, was we didn't provide that software to any of the participants.
Yeah.
They already had it. So if you already have it, we're just providing the organization and instruction.
Yeah, we bought 6 Xbox Series X with the TVs and set up a game room.
Yep.
I think what we're trying to do is stay within the teen for everyone categories. And I believe Fortnite is in teen for everyone.
Yep.
So we try to stay within those categories. So
Yep.
thank you.
Kevin,
James looks like he had
Oh.
a question in here, and they're
Yeah,
looking
that's
to access to run a tournament, but they're worried about running it through the city servers or county servers. You know, basically you can, if you facilitate the 2 players interacting with each other, they can utilize their own networks. You don't have to run them through the city server. They can run whether it's through PlayStation or the PlayStation Network or the Xbox Live network. Basically, what we were looking to do is we were going to use Mission Control to kind of pair the players up, but nothing was going to be going through our city servers. How do you guys do it, CJ?
Everything is online, so it's your home internet.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that as far as getting hacked. I know that's a major concern with cities now with data breaches.
Alex, do you have any input on that one?
We eventually had our IT department here set up a separate internet feed for strictly for esports and our video games and such, so it doesn't interfere with our regular city business.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you may actually be able to partner with Verizon or whoever your internet provider is and maybe get a sponsorship where all they're doing is dropping a high data line into your community center. That way you're off the city network. I am reading through these emails.
Hi, Michael. I have a couple questions. Kevin Favada here from Town of Davie.
Hey, Kevin.
One, I've run into an issue of potentially finding consoles. Did you guys partner with any stores to get a console? Can you hear me?
Are you doing
Yes.
like new consoles or?
Yeah, I'm potentially looking to get the PS5. I guess is the newest one. I'm not really a gamer myself, but I'm sure I can work some magic and go a bunch of places and find them. But I want to know if there's any little shortcuts that you guys found to find the newest in console that seems to be sold nowhere.
I think there's from my perspective, there's good news, great news, and bad news. The good news is if you search long and hard, you can probably find an Xbox Series X, which is kind of their $500 top of the line Xbox. They have an Xbox Series S, which is a more moderately priced. They're $300. I see those out in the wild all the time. I've seen them at Targets and Walmarts and Costco's. The bad news is if you're looking for PlayStation, those are really, really hard to find. They are in high demand. I mean, if you go on eBay, they're still probably twice the amount of what you would pay in the store. They retail about $500. You can find them online. Last time I checked, for anywhere between $900 to $1,100. So I think you're going to be tough finding PlayStations. But if you want to go the Xbox route, which is just as competitive, you can find those out there. And there's also the opportunity of playing through PCs. But with PCs, you have to have a lot of issues with upgrading hardware and firmwares. And at least when we were looking into it, we were going to go the console route.
Okay.
The other thing is, Switches is the most prevalent gaming console out there. That's the Nintendo console where you can play Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and those things. They are getting more easy to find out there in the wild as well. So
okay. So another question was, are you guys finding it successful to not run Fortnite? Because I see the slippery slope. You're playing Fortnite. How do you not play Call of Duty? How do you not with excluding any shoot 'em up video games? Are they really successful? Are you guys getting turnout?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Alex.
When we're doing Fortnite, we've been brought the question of doing Call of Duty and everything, but I go back to the rating. T is the highest rating that we offer here. So we're not even dabbling in Call of Duties and even Halo and such. I think Halo's
Okay.
Yeah,
Was
we
there
same rationale. We've used the same
turnout
rationale.
difference between when you only offered Rocket? What's the Rocket game called?
Rocket
Rocket
League.
League.
Rocket League. And is Rocket League playable on a PlayStation, Xbox?
Rocket League is cross-platform, so that's one of those great games that you don't have to worry about just doing a PlayStation League or an Xbox League. Everyone gets to play together, no matter what console they're playing on. So
Cool.
those are usually our
And
biggest.
it's free, right, CJ? I mean, it's available for free. You can buy skins and all that kind of stuff, but to download the basic game, it's free. So there's no barrier to entry.
Cool. Chad, do you have any other questions? I'm good on my questions for now, guys.
All right.
Yeah, the reality with Fortnite is the kids that are going to play in your league are probably already playing it at home. The issue that I potentially have, it's not the parents and the kids that are used to playing it. It's the random person from your community that has seen some negative things out there about Fortnite causes kids to become more aggressive. And then you have to answer those questions for people that don't have kids, don't know anything about esports, and then you're answering questions to them, even though everyone that's basically signed up in your league knows exactly what Fortnite is. And the reality is our kids are playing it for 4 hours a day anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
See some questions
Thank you.
in the chat for mission control. I'm gonna put my email in the chat if you guys want to get a hold of me, because I'm happy to answer all your mission control questions without turning this into a mission control ad.
CJ and Alex, there's a good question here. What are the pros and cons between doing leagues versus tournaments? Do you guys want to answer that from your perspective?
Sure. So we started as being all leagues when we first got going. And it was all free leagues. Again, we started when all our buildings got shut down for COVID. So it was just a way to connect with our community and give them some kind of distraction when they were going crazy at their house. We've seen a drop off in just free leagues and, offering leagues that extend over a month and a half to 2 months long. But our tournaments have been pretty strong. So we're doing like week-long tournaments where you'll play every day and the championships on the weekend. And we charge for our tournaments, and so you get a better reward. Instead of just like a $6 trophy from Ground Trophy, you're getting like gaming equipment or something like that. So we've seen more interest in the tournaments recently.
We originally started with just tournaments. We started at free and then just gradually increased cost. So tournaments have a pretty good turnout. We'll get some pizzas, gift card goes to the winner. So it might be Xbox, PlayStation. Then we established some numbers from there and started building leagues off of those. And then the leagues range for 4 to 6 weeks. So we still have pretty steady turnout depending on what our tournament might be. And then our leagues are continuing to, we try to rotate around offering new ones and some that have been successful. So like Fortnite is consistently successful. So every season or so, we're offering something like that again.
David.
Natasha has her hand.
Sorry, I'm on a cell phone.
Her hand.
What games are you guys playing in your little tournaments?
So
Did you hear me?
yeah, we'll do Fortnite, Rocket League, Super Smash, Mario Kart. We've got Fall Guys lined up, a couple others. We kind of pick the brains of those who are coming in and submit like what they might be interested in or something that they could definitely get themselves and their friends to sign up for and see about offering things like that.
Yeah, Alex hit the 4. Fortnite, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Rocket League. Those are our 4 biggest consistently. 2 of those are cross-platform, and then the Switch consoles have, those are only on Switch, the Smash Brothers and the Mario Kart. We have had less success with the sport games with sustained success because everyone has to play on their own. Like you can not mix, we go online, so you can't mix the Xbox and the PlayStation players, and you can't even mix the old generation Xbox and the new generation Xbox. So I have to offer 4 different leagues, and it just spreads out my pool too much, and we have they're too small. The leagues ends up being too small, so we've not had any kind of sustained success with the sports games.
And Rocket League, the games can take 7 to 10 minutes. Some of these sports games can take up to an hour. So there's nothing worse than getting your tail handed to you and you're still in the first quarter, or you just entered the second quarter. Latasha, thank you for. I'm sorry I missed your hand earlier.
No, it's okay. Hi, I'm Latasha with Palm Beach County Parks and Recreation. And like you all was just saying, we had just started our esports leagues for free. But we are looking to do the rewards a little better. So I know you stated that it's probably not ideal to mention anything dealing with ways that you can, or opportunities to go to college, or opportunities to kind of make a living as a reward. But we were talking about at least opening it up as something that at least to aware some of the young children or the teens that's doing it as a reward, more so than, like he was saying, a $6 trophy. What do you think about that?
I'm sorry. So what was the reward that they're getting?
Well, now it's like bragging rights. So
Okay.
we're at the level like you started as far as the leagues, and it's free.
Yep.
And we're really new. We're going to start a summer season coming up, but we were interested in trying to, I guess, inform them of opportunities that may be present in South Florida for scholarship possibly, or some type of transitioning into ways that you can be professional or do other things besides just gaming as an opportunity. What do you feel about that part of it? I know Michael said not to, we're not promoting that, but we see that as a perk in South Florida with us not offering anything but bragging rights. So
Sure. I think all we were trying to caution was just not try to, just like with the regular, traditional sports, is not to dangle anything over kids' head like, oh, you work hard and you're going to earn a scholarship, because the chances of getting a scholarship for a sport are so minuscule.
I understand.
So that's I think all we were trying to, and the same thing when talking to your administration, like you're not realistically going to be any kind of a feeder system for a professional organization or scholarships.
Okay.
Highly
All
unlikely. I
right.
think that's all we were saying. It's just
And-
not
Well,
and
back
that-
to bragging rights then. Thank you.
Well,
But if you're-
instead of getting the kids, a $10 trophy, you may want to invest in $10 gift cards like PlayStation Network or Xbox Live Network, so that way they can buy themselves, a game or a skin or something along those lines.
We do have
I-
the gift cards that's coming down too, but we're our numbers are really low. Again, we're just starting out. So to get that morale up to want to be a part of the gaming, we wanted to kind of perk up some of the rewards because it's free too. But I think I'm gonna tell them about the tournaments. I heard CJ talking about the tournaments being a big plus, and you guys charging with it. So that's a good option that we can probably parlay into after the summer.
And if you're looking at some of those like benefits and stuff like the college and
Yeah.
stuff, sometimes the local colleges have like clubs or like an intramural or a
Mhm.
varsity. So check with your like local universities and colleges. They might have like a group of like students who are really into it that might be willing to like partner or bridge and just kind of let them know how they got involved and how benefits there for them.
That's
and
helpful.
also a lot of high schools are doing clubs too. So if you're looking, if you have kids that are, 8, 10, 12 years old, reach out to the high schools, because that will be their next step to get involved in the clubs there once they eventually reach that grade level.
Thank you.
Charla said, Dinesh, feel free to unmute and jump in.
I think Alex wrote in the chat on the side on that one, so we're good on that one.
And then
There
I see
was-
John's
Yeah.
about using logins.
Yeah.
So we have on our site, we have an esports room with PCs and consoles, but we have just generic logins for all of them to use. They're not tied to like credit cards or anything. So anyone's going and having a spending craze on all the skins and everything. But they are welcome to like log in under their own, because there's some customization and everything that's already there. We just really encourage everyone log out when you're done using, because we don't always have control of who the next person might be jumping on is.
Very good.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything else, Charla? I think we covered a lot of them.
There's the partner with local game shops for promotion and prizes, but you guys have all touched on that here and there. I don't know if there was anything specific, John, Spencer, you wanted to say.
If you have any local mom and pop kind of gaming stores that trade, you might have better luck than GameStop, at least, from the people I've talked to. Working with GameStop gets really challenging because it's a national, obviously, corporation and company. But I know Target is very philanthropic and they work with a lot of communities. So I would approach them over GameStop, but I don't know if CJ or Alex, you guys have had any success working with local or, larger type stores.
I would say too, another thing for like local shops, sometimes they have like memorabilia or stuff that they're willing to part with, and it's not necessarily like a new controller, but it might be like a Mario Kart like little statue or bobblehead or something. So something novelty like that.
Do we have a local shop nearby that has expressed interest if we want to do something on site and partnering with us? But yeah, GameStop has always been like, here, call this number, call this number, call this number. Not so much luck with them.
And then I don't know if we hit this one from Nick. Curious if most cities are using permanent setups or mobile units for on-site esports. So Nick, do you mean like have a game room versus just setting it up on the fly in a room?
Yeah, like if you have a room that you use permanently, or if you have like a cart with a TV stand on it and roll it in and out every day, or how you guys operate that.
We have a permanent setup here, a room. But I'd say another thing that I've recently come across, which I don't know if anyone's explored, is there's a handful of companies I know, at least in this area, we're in Tampa Bay, where they'll take like a tricked out trailer full of like TVs and video games and stuff, and they'll pull up to your site, you rent it out for a couple hours, and you have everything you need right there.
That's fun.
That's a great idea for a special event as another
Yeah.
component of a special event. We when we run esports in our library, we set it up just for that day. So we'll go in and we'll put a giant projector up and shoot it up on a giant wall, and the kids will come in and play Smash Brothers. And a lot of times the kids will bring their own, Nintendo Switches with them. So you can do it either way. Both work.
I think that we may have touched on all the ones that were put in the chat that we're not referencing mission control. So I think, yeah, unless there's anything else. All right. Well, CJ and Michael, thank you so much for your time, and Alex for jumping in there and answering some questions too. We really appreciate our Florida Recreation Esports Council jumping in and just helping on educating you guys on some of this stuff. Sharing means caring, right? No need to reinvent the wheel. So letting you all be able to kind of talk through it and see who's doing what and know who to call if you need help is the best thing we can do for you. So we will be sending out that website that has some of those educational resources and all that kind of stuff here pretty soon. And also on that website will be the contact information for our Esports Council members. So if you needed to reach out to them, you'd be able to do that as well. And of course, if you need anything, you can always email me and I'll try to get it to the right person. The people that are represented on the council all have totally different programs. So it's kind of nice that we get to kind of pick their brains from coming from different places and how they organize their programs. So just let us know if we can help with anything. Thanks again, CJ and Michael, and we'll see you all later.